Feminine's podcast and channel. I'm your host, Steph Desar, and in today's episode, we are talking aging with divine feminine beauty and how you can really embrace your aging process here on earth, but the divine feminine essence that's within you as it develops and grows throughout that period, because actually it doesn't diminish, it becomes expansive and becomes even more beautiful over time, if you want to use that concept. So before I get started, don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. We're Divine Feminines on YouTube and all major podcast platforms. That's Apple, Spotify, Google, and we're also on TikTok and Instagram, and that's Divine Feminines with a Z at the end. Why like and subscribe this channel where we talk all great things to become your best self, mind, body, and soul empowerment. We talk moon cycles, moon manifestation, how to just really harness your energy, balance your masculine and feminine energy, and really become your true authentic self. So I'm sure there's something in it for all of you. Both men and women are welcome here. So welcome back to all of my lovely loyal subscribers, and a big warm welcome to anyone that's joining for the first time, and I hope you enjoy this episode. So divine feminine energy, you've heard me talk about it a lot. And I've talked about, the distortions, bringing it into balance, and the dark feminine and the light feminine within feminine energy. And I've mentioned many times that divine feminine energy exists within both men and female, because it is the yin to the yang. Masculine and feminine exists in all of our earth and in everything, and within men and women. Now, within women and females, divine feminine energy is a little bit more prominent. Of course it would be, it's innate in us, but it is existing in all species, in all men and women, right? And divine feminine energy is that radiance, it's that beauty, it's that nurturing energy, intuition, it's creativity. It's very much associated with the left brain. It's the receptive, it's the sort of what you don't see. It's a benevolent power. And I talk a lot about when we're manifesting that we cannot manifest just purely with our masculine energy, because yes, there is an element of doing, but there's an element of letting go and surrendering and allowing, and that is very much reflective in that feminine energy. But when it comes to beauty, and I won't deny my age, no one really believes me, but I'm 40 and I'm very happy to be 40. I actually think that I'm doing better as I go along in time, and I look better than I did in my 20s, and that's crazy. But when I look at photos and everything, what I'm seeing is not an outer beauty. Yes, I do feel like my outer beauty is changed in some way, but it's because of the internal processes that's happening within me, and then what radiates from me. It's my energetic aura, it's my flow, it's what I emit, it's my radiance, but it's coming from within. And a lot of that is to do with work, with healing, with releasing old outdated patterns, with really changing mindset. And with that, I feel that a lot of that internal harvesting of new mindset, new alignment, and letting go of outdated behaviors, patterns, and even just suppressive ways of thinking, feeling like I need to look like this, I need to be like this, and starting to embrace who you really are and loving the internal sides of you, loving what cannot be seen on the outside, loving what you really know of you and what makes you. And I feel that that's what's actually helped me to really just stand in my authenticity and be who I am. Now, some would argue that 40 years old is really young, and I still think it's really young, but we'll have some listeners here. Some of you might be in your 20s, some of you might be in your 30s, some of you might be embarking on your 40s. I do believe that it's one of the best moments in life. Personally, I'd like to hear if anyone else thinks the same, but even equally those that are of you going into your 50s or 60s. This episode, I feel, will be relevant to all of you. Now, some of my more mature feminines might be like, I get it, Steph, I understand, but some might not. And especially when you're getting into your late 30s, going into your 40s, there's a real transformation, because women go through their menopause, there's a big bodily change in terms of hormones, and that can be quite difficult emotionally and hormonally, and in terms of your physical presence and how you look and how you feel. And you may feel that some of your gifts or the purpose of being a woman on earth, to have a baby and to give life, is being removed from you. But actually, it's a very interesting alchemy process that is transforming over time, because as females, we come and Actually, yes, we are here to create, just like the men. And yes, we are givers of life, and we bear the baby and we give birth to new life. But that does not need to feel like it's stopping when we're going through stages and changes of menopause and aging in that way. Why? Because actually in ancient cultures, very significant of Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine teachings, shows that actually a woman's purpose of creativity doesn't actually stop through the sort of, oh, okay, she cannot give birth anymore, she's not having children anymore. Her purpose doesn't stop. It actually transforms and becomes even more heightened to a creative energy of her soul. She starts to create more for her soul and for the energy that is around her and what she shares with the collective, with the earth. And this is a very powerful shift. And that is going to be more prominent with the ages of 60 onwards. So this is a different creative energy. And so for us that may have not there yet, we might not understand. And for some of you that are around those age groups, you might start to become familiar with this, especially if you're in tune with yourself and you're really trying to connect with yourself. I think that those feminines that are listening to this episode right now will very much be on that journey of really oneness and really coming into connection with your own center, with who you truly are, and really trying to discover and, you know, unleash your inner beauty and inner self, because the world only really sees a fragment of who we are. Think about social media, talking about it the other day, but you know, we see things of people on social media, and I'm not really a big fan of it, but obviously it has its vices and it has its purpose. It helps me put this out, helps me promote it, and I get more of the right souls to join the tribe, to be part of this movement, which is amazing. But it also has its negative moments, because it shows limited aspects of people's lives, mainly just the good times, not the bad times. Also shows quite fake images of women looking a certain way, or a set image of a woman, and everyone's thinking that they need to aspire to be like that. And even if they're not thinking that consciously, they're thinking it subconsciously, or there's an ingrained sort of in the back of the mind thinking, oh, I need to kind of conform to this because this is what society is showing me. And that can be really hard, because divine feminine beauty is actually the beauty that exists within. Like I said before, divine feminine energy is the nurturing energy, the intuition, the power within, the real connection to self, self-love, dark feminine, being able to understand your shadow. That's not something that can be seen. It's not something that you can wear as an outfit and then go take a picture and someone's like, oh yeah, that's that divine feminine outfit. No. Me wearing a bikini and wearing a nice goddess outfit with some beads on my head and some really nice crystals and jewels does not make me radiate divine feminine energy. Yes, it might look very nice, but if I'm not radiating it and cultivating it from it within, those things are just accessories. They're accessorial to a one point in time photo that has been taken and does not depict who I am or what I'm really harnessing within. So that divine feminine energy from within and the beauty is something that actually cannot be seen. Have you ever, and a really good way to frame this is, what do you mean, Steph? What do you mean by this? How can you tell? Have you ever been around a female, regardless of age? And sometimes it could mainly be the older females. And I won't say older in terms of age, maybe even more wiser, because they've basically been more astute to the changes and transformations and been able to do a lot of that inner work and the shadow work. So as you've been around these females, or you've experienced it, you can't even put your finger on it, but you just want to be around them. They are just so magnetic. They don't have to do anything. They don't even have to say anything. Just them being present and in their energy, it just makes you feel calm, makes you feel the love, makes you feel the divinity and that power. And power doesn't come with loudness. It doesn't come with boldness. True power is that soft warrior where silence and space is actually the most powerful thing. And divine feminine energy actually is very integral to space, to silence, to just being. And you may have been around family members, females you work with, friends, aunties, whatever, older female figures. And I'm saying older, but I don't want to necessarily say it's only older, because and I'm not trying to be self-absorbed when I say this, but, and I know I'm not, but I don't know why I'm even saying it. But when I'm around certain people, they actually really like being around me, and I don't even have to say anything. It's sometimes just me being around them. They feel calm, they just feel the good vibe energy. I don't really have to say much, but when I do, it helps maybe in some ways, but I don't need to. And I noticed that is also innate in the healing energy of the divine feminine. Now, I've been doing a lot of work within, like I've said, so I can be very confident and comfortable in my presence. I have that confidence and that understanding of who I really am. So when I'm around others, they feel that. They feel that energy, and it's maybe not always so obvious to them that they're feeling it, but they just know they like to be around it. I work with many people. I have clients that sometimes it's not even about the work I'm delivering, but they just feel the presence of me there. And my genuine concern, consideration and appreciation for working with them, but just being there and making sure that things are moving forward. Don't have to be all, okay, and we're doing this and we're doing that. Sometimes I don't even have to do that. I just need to listen to them, just be there with them, help them see certain things. And I know that there's a lot of that's in the energy. So with the beauty side of things, it's all bundled into one. That, what I'm saying, is that energy, that feeling of when you've been around someone, especially a female, and you just love it. It just feels warm, it feels loving, it actually feels beautiful. You know, when you sit in a room and aesthetically that room is just lovely. And for me, aesthetically would be, there's loads of plants, the wall colors and the scheme are really like nice and vibrant, and it's a very eco-friendly type of room. So the things in the room are very planet friendly, and there's very much a high vibration. You can smell Palo Santo, you can smell fresh flowers. That for me is a really peaceful, loving, beautiful room. But there's physical things in there. So imagine feeling that feeling, but you're just there. So that's what I mean. Now it's hard because, like I said, society is talking about beauty as in, and always promotes beauty as the outside. You see beauty products, you see makeup, you see all of these things. You see, do your hair a certain way. Now, I've said before that in order for us to feel confident and really be in our center, we have to feel and look good. Because, if you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, then you're in the wrong place, right? You need to love what you see in the mirror. So I don't put down anyone that wears makeup. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I do think that there needs to be a comfortable and healthy relationship with the use of it. If you're always looking to use it and you feel uncomfortable and insecure without it, then that is something to work on. Try to let go of using it all the time. Have moments on the weekends where you don't wear it. I don't ever wear it. I'm gonna come closer to the screen where you can see my imperfections, because there are some, and a few little wrinkles and a few little things, but I don't wear it, and I don't feel the need to wear it. I tried to wear it once in the last few years, and I was like, what am I doing? I look fake. So I think I've stopped wearing it now for 4 years, going on to 5 years, and I love it. I love the journey because it's really made me really love myself, because I'm not too bothered about what's going on the outside. Now, I do a lot of skincare routines. I do look after my skin. I do make sure I'm doing techniques but I also appreciate and understand that there's a part of me that's aging, and I'm not going to always look the same. I just have to embrace and love what I see and work on the internal me, because you can't go wrong with the internal side of you, because the more and more you cultivate it, the more and more you work on your internal reality, your external reality just becomes even more beautiful, more harmonious, and your experiences with people, just your experience with life becomes even more softer, smoother, and effortless. I think that's the word, it's effortless. So how can you cultivate beauty within you that's effortless? Because putting on makeup is a bit of an effort. Wearing certain clothes and taking ages. Like, if you're taking 2 hours to get ready in the morning, you've lost the plot. And I'm saying it quite overtly. I'm saying you've lost the plot, because it should be about that. It should be, how can you get ready in like half an hour, 40 minutes, let's say, and I'm giving a timing because this might help some of you, or even 30 minutes, that you just quickly have a shower, you wash your face, you put some clothes on, and bish bash bosh, you're out. if you're there spending 2 hours to get ready because you've got to do your makeup, your hair, and you've got to decide what to wear, you're making too much of an effort for an external presence that you hold on this earth. So try to find that balance. That's a good way to sort of ask yourself what you could maybe deem as, this is overdoing it and I need to bring it back down to earth, or bring it back down to your heart space. Look, when it comes to doing your hair as well, I like hair. Look, I've been doing multiple different hairstyles, but I do this because this is effortless. I do it once and then I can leave it like this for ages. So when I'm getting up in the morning, I'm not too focused on it, but yeah, it makes me feel and look good, great, but I don't need to have it, right? To embrace my beauty. I will take breaks, I'll have my normal hair out, but my hair is great. I have a lot of grey hair here, and you probably can see it in the camera. I have a lot of grey hair that comes around the edges. I actually got some grey hairs in my 20s and I was shocked. Some of you may have not got grey hairs till your 30s, maybe even your 40s. It's also hereditary. It's also dependent of where you live in the world, what you eat, melanin levels, melanin levels as well in the body. That if you've got less levels, especially if you live in colder countries, you're probably more likely to get grey hairs quicker and sooner. But it's also can be hereditary. But how do you embrace that? I mean, I still dye my hair, and I'm not going to deny it, because for me, I'm like, well, I'm not going to grow my hair all fully grey right now. And I've got some friends, and I know of older women that have done a fantastic job of just embracing the whole thing, because actually they've started to groom their hair and allow it to grow silver over time, and it looks stunning and it really suits them. And I actually think that I probably could do it one day, but I'm not ready to do it. And it's not because I'm denying my beauty. I quite like my hair dark and I quite like that look on me, so I'm allowing it. But by doing these hairstyles, I just allow myself to not have to do too much maintenance, because it's growing grey underneath, and you don't really see it that often, so I don't have to keep doing it. But yeah, you could argue, Steph, why don't you just accept your greys and just roll with it? But I'm not having to go out of my way too much to have to do it. So for me, it doesn't really take out a big chunk of my time. It doesn't make me go out of my way. And at the same time, I'll still rock my greys sometimes, and I'm not insecure about it. So there's been many a times where I've got greys, but I personally don't like the look of it. So there's a personal preference. I'm like, nah, I don't like it, so I'm just gonna. So this is, some of you might be going, well, Steph, that's the way I feel about makeup. I don't like not wearing makeup, but all I'm saying is make sure that it doesn't eat up too much of your time and your focus to a point that it makes you feel insecure, or it makes you feel like you're having to do it to fit in. Okay, I'm not doing what I'm doing to fit in. I don't even look like anyone I know in my close proximity of people that I interact with. I'm very unique. I look very much like me, whatever that is meant to be for me. So ask yourself, are you embracing your uniqueness of how you look? I go to the gym, I work out, I look after myself, but I've got a few little rolls of fat, and like my belly gets bloated, and I've got a few, lines here and there. It is what it is. And I didn't have that because I'm getting older. I had that from younger days, and it's also what you eat and how you look after your body. And also, we all have different body shapes. So some of us will put on weight in certain places, some of us has a different shape, some of us will have big hips, maybe we have long necks, or we have wide waists, or really skinny waists, big behinds, or whatever it is, or really chunky arms, and that is kind of our body shape. Of course you can go to the gym, of course you can shape your body in some ways, but that again shouldn't become an obsession. Because and I'm sure you guys have seen it, that you see people that they go to the gym and that is just now, they're obsessed with looking a certain type of way. There is an insecurity there. There is no real embracing of who you really are, and there's probably a lot of misconnection or disconnection, should I say, correct myself, disconnection with that internal version of you and who you really are, like what makes you who you are, your emotions, your feelings, your personality, your characteristics, your traits. What really makes you tick inside, not how you look on the outside and how many times you've gone to the gym that week and what you're eating and how you're cutting down on your calories and all of that. I mean, yes, it's important to stay healthy, But again, ask yourself, what is your relationship to fitness? And are you doing none of it? So that's a bit of a concern, because you should look after your body. Or are you doing so much of it that you've become a little bit obsessed, and like now you're having to go to the gym every day, every day of the week, or even every other day of the week, but you need to be there for 2 hours, because if you're not going to look a certain way. Like, ask yourself what that internal conversation is. What's the dialogue within? What are you telling yourself? And journal it, like write down the word beauty in a journal and say to yourself, what does beauty mean to me? And when you come out with these different terms of what beauty means to you, then write further drill down sort of words, phrases of what that means. So if it's like beauty means to you, really nice hair, okay, what does that mean? And then ask yourself, what's my relationship when it comes to my hair? And then ask yourself, what does beauty mean to me within? And am I cultivating it? And then you might go, oh, I don't know what it means from within. So then that is an area for you to start to embrace. Now, the reason why I'm saying all of this is because the more that you start to embrace the internal beauty within, it's not that you will let the external go and you won't be maintaining yourself and you look like you just woke up and you dragged yourself out of bed, because you got to look after yourself, of course you do, and be presentable. But the more you're harnessing and cultivating the internal beauty within, a lot of the rest starts to kind of really blend and manifest in a way through your energy, through your aura, through how people feel you and how you feel yourself. You feel your space and you start to feel that aura that you're creating, but your field. That's the word I wanted to use, your field. You start to really feel your field and what you're cultivating within your field because of this center point. So ultimately, this aging with divine feminine beauty is a beautiful process. And I think the more that we start as women to promote that and encourage it within the women that we're with, our sisters in our circles, really trying to, if you notice that another female is getting quite caught up on her ways of how she looks and stuff, maybe say something, but don't tell them what to do, of course. Just say it with a kind, compassionate suggestion. Maybe give them some food for thought, because our fertility, like I said, is always growing. Just because we may stop having children and we create for the earth and we create for our families does not mean that we stop creating, because we start to create for ourselves. And there's so much that we can create that benefits us and the people around us, because the more I've said this before, we are not on this earth to just come here and consume. And that's where a lot of people get caught into the 3D, because they're getting caught into just consumption. And unfortunately, society, the media, and the powers that be have created a matrix system that enforces this: just come and be subservient and do as you're told and just consume what we give you and just be a consumer to everything. I mean, everything's being sold at us in every moment of the day, whether it's actually a transactional sell or if it's just a storyline or a new flipping fobbed off like fake facade or illusion, but it's being sold to us, right? It's being fed to us and we're consuming. So a good way to measure how much you're consuming versus creating is to just look at yourself and see, are you using your creative gifts? And you don't have to be out there being a musician or an artist, but are you allowing yourself to create? And that could be through making foods or making new kind of recipes and sharing those gifts and sharing what you've made. Maybe it's writing, maybe it's singing, maybe it's dancing, maybe it's actually painting. And you don't have to be a big artist, but what are you doing that is creative and that is actually creating something through your gifts and that you're sharing with the world? So ask yourself that, and I do believe that we can then allow ourselves, as we're creating, that aligns very nicely with the manifestation of creating the life of our dreams. So when you can really ride that horse, let's say, of creation, you call in a lot of the manifestations that you have in your heart, because it's synonymously dancing with the art of yin and yang, that you are creating, but you're also letting go and you're being with yourself. So think about that. because that is your divine feminine energy. It is that receptivity, it is that creativity, it also is that moment of silence, that moment of allowing space and expansion. And as I said, we are all going to age in our body. This is inevitable. So the more that we embrace that and accept that that is a thing, and we don't put too much focus on it, the more we can allow ourselves to create in our divine feminine energy through the aging process and embrace it, and allow that expression of our divine feminine to come out in other ways that were not seen in the past from our journey on earth, because our outer shell will begin to reflect time. This is the beauty that you all possess, my ladies, feminines out there. And yes, I'm not forgetting the men, but you all possess it within, and you have the ability to really allow that to flourish and show up differently in this world, in this earth, and allow that legacy of that divine feminine energy to flourish and continue beyond your time here on earth to the other feminines in our younger generations. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you for listening to this lovely episode, which I've enjoyed so much, and I hope it's been of use to you. And if you've got anything to say, comments, feedback, please leave a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. Until the next time, I'm sending you peace, love, light, and abundance. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye everyone.